All right, everyone, I'm here with Solemn. We're doing our yearly podcast where we talk about stuff. It happens once a year.
Yep.
Only at Worlds.
Where I only have the hottest takes and
Yes.
the worst opinions.
Yes, and I don't know what will happen if you ever not make it to Worlds.
then your whole thing is fucked. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll travel to Europe.
Get Derek as replacement. Man.
He has the most lukewarm takes though.
that's true.
he can rib on anyone in WCC at the moment except Steven. Because Steven had a higher placing, but then you had a higher placing than everyone else, right?
Yes. I'm not happy with it. 4-2, 14th place, kind of cringe.
Kind of cringe. Was it not because of not enough preparation, you think, or?
No, I think both of my losses were on push turns, getting defensive over trigger, kind of fucks the tempo. Especially against Fenrir, you saw that on stream. And then, some more stuff happening.
Yeah. I was watching standard. So.
Oh, rip. I mean, anyone who watches and watched that game. And then the last game, the guy played really well though. I don't wanna say like, oh, this was all luck. It's just, if you have two solid players, and then variance is gonna have more of an effect because skill-wise, the gap isn't as big as maybe at like an early round in a BCS or something like that. But yeah, 4-2. I mean, still fine, but not super happy with it.
What do you think of Premium at the moment?
I like it. I do think that Gurgora should be banned. Not because it's a good deck. I think the deck is ass. I hope this wind doesn't ruin the recording.
We have the most scuff set up.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Gurgora is hot ass. Gurgora by round 4, all of them were X2 for a good reason. It faces any deck it doesn't hard counter and it just flops over and dies. But when you have to prepare for an event and you have to consider Gurgora, which makes you take a deck that doesn't die to it, there's already a bunch of options that are out, but then those options might be so good against the other decks that now everything is decided by like Swiss RNG. It's just like, oh, hope I get the good matchups. That feels really bad. So I was really not happy with preparing for Worlds. So
because you have like all to lose matchups, right?
Yeah, basically, like if you pick Gurgora, you auto lost against everything. I don't know why you would pick it. If you pick Granblue or Neo, you auto lost against Gurgora.
Yes.
Even though I did beat Gurgora in my Swiss round.
I heard it.
But that's an anomaly. That's normally not happening.
Yeah.
And then if you pick the decks that are like more mid-ish, the ones that can deal with Gurgora, they generally do die to then Granblue and Neo. So it's like this kind of weird rock paper scissors where rock paper and scissors all have like multiple decks, and Gurgora kind of makes that kind of format, so not a fan of that. I also think Fenrir deck out should probably be hit, not because I hate the deck. I think there's some interesting things in the way you play it, but I think more so that it's again gonna make a lot of decks unviable. And luckily, when I was preparing, I was like, okay, Cormac's gonna play this, and maybe one more person, and that's it. So I'm not gonna I'm gonna test for it, but I'm not gonna respect it too much in deck building, which might have been a mistake. I don't know. But
it's like
but if
one-off deck, right?
Yeah, exactly. But if more people start taking it, I do think it also has like that same centralizing kind of vibe as Gurgora. So I think that should.
I think the bigger problem is that it takes a long time to play, right?
Yes, it also constantly goes to time, and if you're not like really quick with it, like Cormac plays it really quick, so that's fine. But even he was constantly in time, so like you have to be quick as Cormac, and then you will still be constantly in time. That might be an issue, so Bushi might just not like it for that reason.
Yeah.
And then over triggers fucking blow. They always have blown. They suck. There's no reason to defend them, even in standard. But I mean, we're talking about premium now, so
yeah. So
that's basically it.
What about with the current format? A lot of it was shaped by like history. What do you actually think of history collection as a product? You love it? Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of decks got viability from it without them even printing new cards, which is crazy. I like Harmonix Messiah, not for the prize obviously, but just for the extra defense when going second. Because for a long time going first, going first is still really good, but now when you go second with a deck that isn't the right-up history collection deck, you really feel like, damn, going second might actually be better. So at one point when prepping for Worlds, I was actually thinking, what if I make a blind second deck? Because everyone's still gonna say first, but these new shields are crazy.
Yeah.
And so I tried a little bit, but I didn't really have the time to completely solve that. But so going second in Premium, I think Premium is the only format where going second isn't, backbreaking. You know, if I right now go into V going second, GG la. If I in D go second, I mean maybe with the strides will change it again.
Kind of free.
Yeah, with Shiranui and Luart coming back, sure. But without strides, I do feel D going second kind of hurts. Unless there's an older deck I don't know about right now.
Well, I think they're in the minority. With the energy and stuff, it might change.
Yeah, potentially. I'm sure we'll start talking about DivineZ very soon. But yeah, so overall, I do like History Collection for that.
I think you're one of the first few people I talked to that was saying History Collection was a good product overall. Because I know a lot of people, like, before its release, were saying the game is dead, it's doomed. History Collection as a product is also a bad product kind of thing. I was kind of skeptical as well. You know, you're reprinting a bunch of erratas and stuff. Maybe it works for Japan, but for the West it felt a bit weird. But I think everyone after that got on board on it pretty quickly. They were actually pretty happy about it. But you were one of the originals.
I'm an OG.
The OG.
No, I always liked it because like all of these old cards sucked. So like you weren't really missing anything, right?
Yes.
And then there's like a bunch of people who loved playing with those decks back then and now also feel, oh, I get to play these cards again. Same with the SPs. Anyone who still had their really old SPs was really happy for it. I didn't keep all of my SPs, but I did keep my Nitros, so I was like, wow, these are good now. And also just in G, I feel Bushi was way more willing to print cards that have like a bunch of little interactions going on, you know? And of course, as Overdress grows, it will gradually get that again. But for now, I think those GB2 skills, some of them are like really interesting. The on-stride, some of them are really interesting. So I like that those are back. Also, the defensive draw crits.
That's
insane.
Yeah.
So like those were gonna always have some defensive creep, which again I really like. I like back and forth games. So yeah, I don't know. I was always a fan of it. Oh, of course, except for the ratios.
I think they could work on the ratios a bit more.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the easier ones to work on.
Yeah.
So we got History Collection. That was a bit of a, how do you say, like a more small bump in the format last year. Clan Collection this year, right? Or some kind of premium collection this year, you think? To shake up the format. Do you like the big shake-ups of premium collection?
Yes, I like big shake-ups because I think like that's when you have the most edge. You know, you go into an event and you have figured something out that no one else has figured out. You were able to cook in the lab on your own, you know? Because after a while things do get solved, and so I do like new cards coming out. The promos kind of help with that. The now the new ones also look really good. So like the G-Guard, VP promos. But having like an actual set that changes stuff is also really cool. We're gonna get like the Cecilia reveal, I think today, right?
Oh no, I think it's Salome.
Salome.
And they hinted at the premium crest.
Yeah.
Salome crest, I mean.
Salome crest. Yeah, I don't know, but they're gonna hint it, I think, later today. But so I'm hopeful for those deck sets to also be good, but I wish we would also get a set with every clan, you know, getting solid support.
Yeah, because those feel like, you know, is a great entry product into premium. And I'm sure, like, since you played like Revenges recently, that's probably going to get a Revenges crest, right? Or a Raging Form crest or
That'd
something like that.
sick.
So with every premium deck getting crests through, I think it feels like it might actually change a bunch of things up. Even
are we talking about like the crests from these deck sets, or do you also mean the ones from the Stride deck sets from D? Because those are also crests.
Yes. So what I understand, well, we don't know the full thing because this is going to happen tonight, right?
Yeah.
But this is Tuesday, so it's before Tuesday, so maybe if this posts up later, we won't know. But Salome herself apparently is getting a crest.
Okay.
So just for her. And I'm assuming that will probably apply to the other two trial decks or starter decks that are coming out for premium as well. And then it'll be similar to something like the older, you know, well, not the old, just the D crest.
Yeah.
Just have a bunch of effects printed on it that kind of change things up.
But I wonder if they will stack. Because if you have like Revenger Raging Form also getting... Oh no, because the Luard crest says Luard, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
okay,
so
they
that's name specific kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting to see how they do it, because now you have, like, if they get crests, right, and I assume that if you play a Salome deck, then you won't be able to use the thing that, like the Altmal, like instant double stride kind of thing. I think that might change, so it'll be interesting to see how that develops, but I think we'll find out tonight a bit more.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of things being name tied personally, because I do like the Altmal Julanite deck as like a really cool deck building idea.
Yeah.
I also just like being able to pivot strategies, so back and forth. I think that's like the only thing that D doesn't really fully get yet, because you have a ride line, so it's like I do this and then I do this and then I do this. I do this, I do this, and every single time is the same. Whereas in Premium right now, for example, take the Grand Blue deck I was playing, I was pivoting between riding Beatrice and Nitros depending on if I was going first or second or matchup specific. For example, against Oracle Think Tank, you want to ride Beatrice on purpose because she gives intercept to chat that goes to play around Popo. So like those things I feel are kind of missing when you have that this, then this, then this. And I think these crests are gonna improve, like increase that. But I do want to just wait and see because I do like just more options.
Yeah, more options. That's what Premium's all about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's fine. Have you been keeping up with DivineZ, I guess?
Yeah. So
you actually have?
So kind of. I always try to stay away too much from reveals during like prepping for an event, you know, because it's like, wow, this is so cool. I want to now try this out, and it's like, but I can't because I have to play this other thing, right? So for example, we also had the lyrical set coming out right before Worlds, and I was really excited for it because you had those two Halloween girls that blow up your opponent's front row.
Yeah.
And so my mind was like going, I'm going to go crazy with Highlander, but I can't because I got to prep for Worlds and they're not legal. So same with DivineZ. Like I've been kind of following with the whole energy debacle. I've really enjoyed the secret rare of the new lyrical card.
Oh, okay.
With the silver and the pink. I was like, shit, I want to play that. That looks so cool. And I saw Chris talking shit on it.
It's not the best, but it works in Premium, right?
Oh, does it?
The Chris Ray, the one that has divine skill, right?
Does it? I haven't followed. So that's like the one thing I haven't really properly read. I just saw the art and was like, fuck, I want to play that. But
you can.
Okay.
Another high rarity card.
The only thing I will say is that I do think for Premium we would at least have to get like an energy thingy, right? Like to get energy, because without red line we can't.
Yeah, so the energy thing is pretty much like standard specific at the moment. I don't know, like, you know, players had concerns with like now all these cards that are energy restricted don't work in Premium and things like that.
Yes.
What's your take on that? What is the problem?
Well, we'll wait for the boats to pass.
What the heck? I didn't even know.
You want to go jet skiing? We should do the rest of this vlog on the jet ski. That'd be sick.
I need a GoPro for that.
Oh, yeah, you love GoPros.
I love GoPros now. They're insane.
But yeah, so I think overall though it's fine because the way I've seen Overdress, and I talked about this back when Overdress first came out, I think all of these boss monsters or boss units, whatever you want to call them, we generally weren't using those in Premium anyway, like Nirvana or something like that. And so if that now has like a divine crazy skill, it's like, who cares? We were never riding Nirvana anyway because we wanted to either stride over it or we wanted to get gift markers or the power level was too weak and so forth. What Overdress mostly brought was utility cards. Cards that on rear guard had little effects, you know, things that you kind of overlook, but then in the context of a whole deck were really good. So again, if you look at like my Grand Blue deck, it was with Npix and Urgula and all of these cards that have like little weird effects that then add depth and matchup spreads improving and so forth. Same with the lyrical cards. Again, those that say like pop a front row. That's not that special in D. I mean, I'm sure they were used in the Sienna deck. But it's kind of what ifs. But in Premium, those then add a bunch of utility to the deck. So I think those cards, as far as I'm aware, I don't think every single utility card will have energy costs. Right?
Not everything. I think some will have energy, some won't. It'll just be like before, but you know, I guess it'll be like less.
Yes, slightly less.
Cards, yeah.
So I guess I would like to see energy, of course, added to Premium just so that we can have the options. But I think
it'll be pretty broken in Premium though, right? Because you'll create like situations where you just can't deny your opponent, right? Because energy is just a constant thing you get every turn. And like before, you'd have things like counterblast, denial, and things like that. But if they have energy to kind of bypass that, that's my fear. Is that you'd have less. Even though there's like an extra resource for you to manage, there's kind of less agency because that resource you cannot touch as a player yet, or as the opposing player.
But don't you think D has this same issue then?
Yeah, well, I think that for D as well.
Oh, okay. I'm like, how is that different? Yeah, okay, I do get that. But then again, I think resource denial has also kind of changed. For example, CB denial has become very, very, very specific. There's not that many decks that can be CB denied anymore. And I don't think the game has become less skillful because of it. Like, it's not that hard to just say pass, you know? Back when we first started doing that, it was interesting because people truly couldn't pass. Like it was like a new thing for them. It was like, holy shit, against MLK I don't swing, but I want to drive check.
I get pluses.
Yeah, I want to swing. And so a lot of people when that first came out, what the fuck, bro? But now everyone is like just pausing on my column bar, like poor little fella is never activating. So I don't know. I don't think not having access to that kind of denial is the biggest deal. But maybe I'll be wrong. It's certainly possible that it reduces agency. We will have to test that.
Something in the future.
Yeah, but also D is still power level wise so much lower than premium that even if you can't deny it, I don't think you will care for now.
For now, it's like a new mechanic.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
And I imagine like, you know, they have an energy generator now, but later on you'll get like dark energy generator or divine energy generator. I think there'll be like
ultimate energy.
Yeah, I think like I don't know if you ever played Body Fight. I never played Body Fight.
No.
But it's like, you know how they had like flags that kind of changed the stats or like gave you certain things. It's kind of like what a crest is, right? When you think about it,
I guess, yeah.
It's kind of changing the rules of the game. So they'll probably in the future just add crests, different type of crests.
Oh yeah, and then like this energy is reverse energy or whatever, and that gives you something broken. Yeah. Potentially, sure.
Because like in the deck log as well, you have to specifically pick a ride deck crest as well when you create your deck.
Oh, I see.
So if they release, and right now they're all the same. You have
Yeah.
6 of the same ride deck crests.
Yeah.
But later on, it's obviously having a spot where you can select another.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's fine though. It's just more options. I'm fine with more options. I mean, even like maybe this is the kind of semi Yu-Gi-Oh player in me. I don't mind things kind of breaking sometimes if it means you can make crazy ideas work. Because in the end, you can still just ban it. But of course, then Busho needs to be quick with bans.
Yeah, I know Konami is generally pretty quick with their bans. You spend a lot of money for something, it's gone.
Yeah, either it's too quick or it's not quick enough. I don't know. It's just inconsistent mostly. So.
Yeah, so I guess that's always been a point, right? Busho, I think at least for premium, it needs to be a bit quicker on bans. I think they've been like kind of okay.
Yeah, last few years has been good.
Yeah, I guess the one thing that stood out was like why didn't the get banned that quickly? But you know, overall, I think they generally hit a lot of the really annoying ones.
Yeah, usually like they've hit problem decks mid-season so often, which is crazy because if you say that to other card games, like that's not even a thing. In Yu-Gi-Oh, if your deck is broken as shit, you know, like yeah, too bad for you guys. I have at least 2 more YCSs of absolute hell here before this thing is gone. If it's gone. Whereas in Vanguard, like look at last BCS season, Mirtoa was gone kind of mid-season.
Yeah.
And then MFD was also kind of gone mid-season.
MFD one was the quickest one.
Yeah, that was real quick.
MFD with the
we had like one event.
Yeah. The 1 or 2.
Yeah, 2 maybe. Yeah. Something like
so
that.
It's pretty quick. So I think they're kind of okay. And then sometimes maybe not good.
Yeah, like with the over trigger. How is that still here? Why is that not gone yet?
Yeah. I guess one of the things that you had a big opinion on was, what do you think of tri-regulation tournament coming up?
I hate it so much.
Really?
I really do not understand how anyone likes it. I'm sure. I mean, if you are gonna go to tri-regulation as a D only player and this introduces you to V and Premium, awesome. You know, I'm super happy for that. And that also means you get to have 2 events you really like and so forth. Awesome. But I think those people are in a strong minority.
Okay.
And I think, at least from everyone I talk to, I think like 99% of people I've spoken to, it's like, man, now making a team is so much harder.
Yeah, well, I guess like here's the thing, right? So with tri-regulation, the first tournament was like last year at like DivineZ, and that was probably the first kind of premium tournament that was kind of included in the main series. So they put it like a triple one. So it was like a first introduction kind of thing and the first chance for players to get into it. But I'm guessing like team dynamics, I did talk to like even Chris about it, about how team dynamics are in Japan, where like a lot of the time people shuffle around very, very quickly.
Yeah.
While in like the West, I feel like our team dynamics, we stick with like the team of 3 at Springfest. You have the boys, right? You know them for a long time, and you're always sticking with them. It feels kind of, maybe they might have underestimated that part for the Springfest portion of it. Like, people really just don't want to, have to play the format they want to, or have to change teams.
I don't even think it's necessarily just that. Like, I agree, but if you are in a group of 3 and you're all like about the same level of play, you know, you're all either pretty good or pretty new, whatever it is, it's weird to then try and find people of other formats who then have totally different levels of play. You know?
Okay.
And so then like,
because like you know your boys are good.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, or at least similar power level. Again, if you're all new, that's fine. But if you just started playing, you're not gonna go up to the world champion and say, hey, team with me because we really needed a premium or a V guy or whatever.
It happens though.
Yeah, you can ask, but they'll say no. so like that's a really weird thing. And now within teams, it's also like, do you want to be the person playing V? I don't know. Or do you want to be the person playing D? We just had D already. Like playing
two
D.
Ds,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Playing D back to back. Some people might enjoy, but many people don't necessarily. And so now it's just a really weird dynamic. If you had a team that mostly looked forward to playing V or premium, you're GG, yeah. Like there's, you can't.
I guess the problem last year was that V just in Springfest didn't happen much at all.
Yeah, I know. I mean, V, look, we all know that I said when they announced the 3 formats, I said, I don't think Bushiroad can do 3 formats. You will only have 2 days a weekend, and one format is always going to get fucked. It's always going to be the format next to D, purely because of, you know, D is going to be the most played. And I think V as a format will age the worst, so let's just get rid of it, make it premium only. Like D, day 1, D,
Premium,
day 2.
Yeah.
You can still use all these V cards in premium pretty decently anyway. So like, I still stand by that. I think that would have also been fine for Springfest already. It feels like that's what they're going after anyway. Like,
I think this could be like a solution that tries to satisfy everyone.
Yeah,
still
but
play
it doesn't. Like, it really doesn't. Like, basically, when I saw that, I was like, cool, I'm just not playing Springfest this season. Fuck it. But then Konami didn't announce, but it seems very obvious that there's no YCSs in all of Europe for the first half year. Yeah, I don't know.
What?
I don't know why. They just don't announce any, and so now people are whispering like, there's no YCSs, there's no YCSs, there's no... And I'm like, cool. So now I don't even want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Either.
Looks like you're back at Springfest.
Yeah, guess I'm learning Shiranui.
Wait, are you going to be the one playing D?
I don't know, but I mean, you go both days, right? So
at least the prizes seem pretty good.
What?
The prizes seem pretty good.
Yeah, but I don't really care about the prizes. I care about playing and having fun, and if I'm not playing premium, I'm having less fun, you know.
The solution is to go to 3 and everyone gets a shot at premium, right? Unless you find the dedicated players who will let you play premium every single time.
Being forced to go to 3 just to get to play premium once also sounds so bad.
I think it'll be pretty interesting. Like for this year, they'll try it out. I think what will be interesting to see is how many people are going to play it this year in JP because they're doing it, and it's like not a new kind of gimmick anymore. So if like the numbers drop off a lot for that, then maybe they'll change the idea. But what do you think about like Springfest? Like, because before we know it's like teams, right? Like it's always going to be team tournament, blah blah. That's all we know. But have you ever thought like Springfest? What happens if they change some of the rules for Springfest? So there's some kind of tri-regulation. Maybe next year they have something different. What are your thoughts on that? Or do you just want to play solid Vanguard with just maybe 3 people?
But what kind of rule changes would you have in mind? Like, I'm fine with quirky ideas, just not quirky ideas getting rid of, you know, other stuff. Like, I don't want to lose premium for
not like
play Vanguard on your head day or something like that.
I mean, it's like not loose formats, but like if they introduce like different kind of rule sets, as in maybe, you know, for premium you'd have, you know, like gifts. It's kind of hard to explain, I guess, but
what, like banning gifts for premium for one day or
something like that, or it's like, you know, just a rule set, like, you know, master rules. You know, they kind of change, and you get they change something for like the formats until the next one. What would you think if they had something like a big format change like that, but only for Springfest? Because Springfest isn't like the serious one that leads to Worlds. What are your thoughts?
I think it could be fun, but it would also feel like a fake top, you know?
Oh.
You have a similar thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, I like to just go back to other card games.
No,
like,
we all play different card games.
Yeah, and like, in Yu-Gi-Oh, sometimes they will announce a ban list,
Yeah.
but then it will go into effect after the coming YCS.
Yes.
And so then the view numbers on that YCS drop tremendously, like
Oh.
40% less.
Because it's not the real tournament. But,
Yeah, it's like it was a real YCS, but
Yeah.
no one's gonna learn anything from it anymore. There's no
Oh.
hype. We saw the same in like a Kashtira versus Stirlements. It's like, who cares? We all know this deck is getting nuked soon, so this result is meaningless.
But then,
People
like-
don't watch, people don't care. It's just
But Yu-Gi-Oh analogy, right? For Worlds at Yu-Gi-Oh, they have a totally custom ban list, right?
yes.
What happens like something like, for example, something like that was in Springfest, and it wouldn't be like just one Springfest. It'd be for the Springfest season kind of thing.
The thing is, though, I think the only reason that Worlds gets away with it is because it's Worlds.
Worlds,
Yeah,
right.
a lot of people don't even watch Worlds because they're like, oh, fake format. It's like
Ah.
something you will read on Zodiac Duelist, which is not a great group to be on. But like on Zodiac Duelist, you often hear like, oh, fake format, and that's, I don't know, that's a fear I have. But then again, I am open to like a little creative dance. But then again, if they don't necessarily have the time to make all the required bans in the real format always, you know, like being quick on Mirtoa or banning Overtrigger, why would they have the time to make a custom ban list on top?
Well, I mean, banning Overtrigger is pretty easy.
Yeah.
Imagine a Springfest you just didn't have Overtrigger. Would everyone
Yeah.
watch that?
Dude, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And then they go like, whoa, that was great. Maybe we should do it everywhere. Yeah, that'd be
But-
sick actually. Make a custom rule. Make a custom rule in Springfest where you say Overtriggers are banned for this Springfest, and I watch everyone be so happy that they're forced to do it for BCS. I'm down. I'm so down.
So, I guess one of the other topics I want to ask is, so we've been playing other card games as well, right? I played a bit of Pokemon. You played Yu-Gi-Oh. How, like, if we want to put like, how is Bushiroad compared to those? Because I have some thoughts with, you know, playing Pokemon and you know, missing out on that BCS one time, and how I really regretted it.
Did you really regret
I
it?
actually really regretted it.
Okay, explain. How about
So-
you go first?
So, okay, I went to a Pokemon Regionals, and I didn't make day 2, right?
Okay.
So, happens.
Was
probably,
your first time or?
Oh no, I've actually first time not making day 2. Yes.
Okay,
Every
okay.
time somehow I've always made day 2 before, except at the Worlds. But yeah, no, I went there. It was like played day 1, day 2, nothing to do, right?
Okay.
And okay, if I made day 2, I keep on playing and maybe have a chance at making some money. But if I don't, there was actually just nothing there. I was just sitting around going, Derek, we both scrubbed. What are we doing? And we're like, I think eventually we just went back to Jasper's place and just watched K-drama. That's a pretty weird experience, right? But for like, if I was at because BCS happened at the same weekend.
Yeah.
So if we went to BCS, we'd play day 1. We probably weren't scrubbed. If you did, you'd have a day 2 to also play. And depending
Yes.
on how they sometimes do it, right? Sometimes they schedule like the second event a bit later, just a bit later than the first event. So if you X2 scrub the first event on that day, you can play the second event too.
I see.
So it's like literally like a weekend of just playing card games, regardless of how well you did.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I really miss that, and I think that's like a really good thing going for it. And you also don't pay like $30 to $60 or whatever.
To go X3 drop.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like the participation promos, like you pay money and they give you like a mat and like a promo card, and that's like that was it for Pokemon. And it feels like, you know, if you played a BC, they give you stuff and it was free.
Okay.
And you
Okay.
just had a lot to play. So I actually really, that kind of made me like BCS and like the Springfest and Double Bay kind of games that Bushiroad has going on like that a lot more. Appreciate it a lot more than, you know, if I solely played the game.
How big was that Pokemon regional? How many players?
It was big. I think since it's Australia, it's obviously smaller, but it was one of the bigger. It gets bigger every year, right? Or every time they do it. That was like 400 players to 500.
Okay, so with 400, 500, Bushiroad could technically still do a BCS in one day, but I think once you get into like that 600 kind
Yeah,
of
they split the
thing-
blocks.
Oh yeah, then they split it into blocks, but do you think that's like a good solution though?
I think it's fine because then it gives, if there's so many players, right? More people get invited. So
Yeah, I mean, but at one point you water down the value of the top even, right? Like look at Yu-Gi-Oh right now. YCS has 2,500 players.
Yeah.
Let's say that means you make 5 blocks. Do you think that's like You don't think that's a little silly? I think at that point it's like, yeah, I top 32 together with these 150 other people.
I know what you mean.
Smaller
Yeah.
top cuts or something like that, I guess. But
No, but the thing is, you wouldn't need a top 32 if
yeah,
there was
so you
a
make
smaller
smaller
block,
top
right?
cuts, right? So you make top 8 at YCS, and you make like 5 blocks. I guess that's fine, but then you have 5 YCS champions per weekend.
Yeah, but I think like the BCS kind of thing is the main thing is just worlds, right? I feel like you
Yeah.
win a regional, it's like cool, good job, you did it, right? I did it, yeah, it's the best. But I mean, it's good, but the main trip is still the worlds. It's like not the end goal. I say like we
Yeah.
go YCS like.
But watch out, you also say this, I think, because you're part of the WCC, and so you have so many friends who like consistently get to Worlds every time, and it's like what ifs. I think
Okay.
there's plenty of people who are still like, damn, I would love to top a BCS and I haven't yet.
True.
Of course, there's plenty of people who do top BCS, but just saying.
There were a lot of new players at top BCS this year as
Yes.
well. Like I think
Yeah.
that was pretty impressive.
But so I don't think it should be like, oh, I only care about Worlds. I mean, I now only care about Worlds, but there's plenty of people who don't. Yeah, I don't know. I just think the only reason that we are able to do these double days is exactly because the event sizes do not get to some of these big Pokemon Internationals or Yu-Gi-Oh! ICSs to have a good comparison. Also, I think this Pokemon issue you spoke of, where you don't have anything to do on day 2, is also just because you don't have side events then?
they
Or-
do, but they're just not good. They're like
Okay,
really, really
so they
bad.
just suck. Okay.
Yeah.
So for Yu-Gi-Oh! Then, to make a comparison, if you scrub out of the main event, you can go do side events, and those give points, and those points can turn into prizes you can't get anywhere else. So, like
Yeah.
for example, I won a oversized card
Oh.
from the side events in YCS Dortmund, grinding the shit out of tier limits. And that was really fun because, you know, like, yeah, sure, the main event went shit. I played Pearly. Why would I not be on tier? Duh, should have been on tier. But so, like, yeah, you scrub out, but then you get to actually grind for something else that's really cool.
Okay.
So maybe if Pokemon did something like that, I don't know if they do, but from what I'm
I think at
they don't.
ICs they will definitely do way big ones. And regionals
Right,
depend
and
on
at regionals they don't.
tournament,
Okay. Yeah, well, okay, actually, Yu-Gi-Oh! Regionals also don't have good side events. So
Yeah.
maybe...
We were comparing the wrong things. So YCS, you definitely do way more than Pokemon, right?
Yeah, you have a YCS every month.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're Europe. Get fucked, Europe. Europours in shambles.
Yeah. So maybe we're comparing the wrong things because like, but
Maybe.
you know, but regionals is like kind of.
Yeah, it's weird. Pokemon regionals are a bigger deal than Yu-Gi-Oh! Regionals, right? Like, technically, I can do 8 Yu-Gi-Oh! Regionals per month. Pokemon regionals is 1 per month, right?
No, there's way more.
Way
They have a
more?
lot as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do... Can you actually do 8 per month without taking planes, though? No, right?
Well, if you're in America, I think they have like, so they have like 1 every 2 weeks at least.
Okay.
But you have to take planes.
Okay.
You have to take planes.
It's
Like,
weird.
actually, you get regionals, you don't travel for it. It happens there and you go to it? Or is
Well,
that like
if
20
you
years
want,
ago?
If you want Worlds points, you have to travel to almost all of them. Like, the Worlds grinders are literally in cars more than they are in
I actually
venues.
really don't like points. Like, after playing the Pokemon thing for a bit, right, we have to grind for
Yeah.
championship points. I don't like being forced to grind for points. And sure, you
The
just win a
Pokemon grind is
regional.
easy, right?
No, because they removed my IC, so I just have. Well, it's like it's easy if you travel to all the events, and they scheduled like 2 regionals at the same time as Vanguard events, or
Yeah,
I
but,
just lost 2 regionals.
yeah, but from what I hear, maybe I'm wrong. Almost everyone who tries to go to Pokemon Worlds gets to Pokemon
Yeah,
Worlds, right?
if you dedicate yourself, you should be able to get it.
Yeah,
That's
in
what-
Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like, nah. I don't know if you know the system. I've bitched about it plenty. Like, you go to, for 11 months straight, you go to every regional, every weekend, preferably 2. You have to consistently top them. Then you get into the top 16 people of points in your region, and those 16 people then get entered into a single elimination tournament where only the finalists make it to Worlds. So like,
Sounds good.
so it's fucking, dude, dog shit system. Actual like awful.
So the Pokemon one, like, you get points for joining locals and like
Yes.
monthlies, right?
Yes,
But
it's not enough, right?
it's not enough. It depends where you live. It's based on region as well and how many points.
Okay.
So if you don't get an IC in your region, like for example Oceania, basically Australia,
Yeah.
your points are less. That doesn't mean you do have to go to all your locals to get points, and or you travel international, which is, or you place well at regionals, like you place decently well at regionals.
So the hack is you live in Australia, but you take a plane to Europe.
That's what people do because
Okay.
the pricing sometimes is really good, right?
Yeah,
So,
and then you have so many points, even though your cap is lower.
yes.
Okay.
So like for those people who are traveling, they're definitely making to worlds regardless.
Okay.
So they don't have to worry about it. But it's just like, I don't know. I just don't like being forced to play locals all the time. You know?
Yeah, but it does give you like, if you're doing consistently well, then you get to worlds. Whereas in Vanguard, you can have like a shit streak of 4 top 8s in one season and not making it to worlds, which I think is also pretty shit. There has to be some middle ground.
Where like you top X times in a format.
Yeah, we're like, sure, top 3 makes it to worlds, and then maybe some kind of like consistency leaderboard that doesn't include locals. Like
They have Bushi Nami now for it, okay?
Yeah.
They can do it, right?
Yeah.
You guys do it.
I don't know what the system would be though.
I guess it's kind of weird because like I come from, I'm like, I guess you're a competitive player still. I'm like now kind of just old.
I went 4-2, bro. I'm washed.
I'm like old. All I do is cast. I don't play Worlds anymore, so our perspectives might be different.
Probably, but that's good, right? You need both.
Yeah.
You need people who please the watchers, and you need people who piss off the watchers. That's how it goes.
I guess the other thing I wanted to ask is, so competition for Busher, is that a good thing or not? The main thing would be One Piece, right? Everyone's hopping on that One Piece train.
If that's good, I mean, no. because card games, and don't get me wrong, people will say no, it's good to have competition because it keeps the company on its toes and it forces them to do better and blah 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 blah. And like, sure, if capitalism produced perfect meritocracies, this would be the case. But what's actually more likely, also sick police car. What's more likely is the network effects actually destroying and making card games. I'll wait for this now.
Damn, what's going on?
Any second now.
It's like one of the loudest things in Japan. The sirens.
Yes. That and the 7-Eleven entry sound.
Oh, the Skyliner announcement is also very loud.
Yeah?
Have you taken that?
No.
The Narita guy?
A what?
Did you fly from Narita?
Yeah, I need to fly from Narita.
Did you catch the Narita Express? Or the
I took a cab. It was really expensive. I'm never doing that again.
Takes longer as well.
Yeah,
I looked that up.
Yeah, that was a big rip. Okay, but so network effects. Basically, card games grow and die only through peer pressure. Like,
okay.
if you look at the big 3, oftentimes throughout their lifespans, they have been ran like garbage, like actual shite. But because they are the big 3, if you want to start playing a card game, you're like, okay, which one is big? Because I want to have a locals, and I want to be able to buy products. I want to be able to buy a collection, and I want to be able to sell a collection if I quit. I want all of these things to be solid. You know, I don't want to buy a game and then it dies and I'm left with worthless cardboard. So by default, you are feeling more safe in the bigger card game. And beyond that, if your friend tries to get you into a game, it's much more likely that it's already a bigger one because they're a friend playing.
Yes.
So these network effects make it so big card games get bigger or stay bigger, and small card games are very, very, very hard to get off the ground. So if you get too much competition in card games, while theoretically, if you're like a Redditor who has like a degree in economics and thinks, so supply and demand, market, blah, 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 you could think like, oh, it's actually good, we have so much competition, we'll have the best card game surviving and the others dying. No, what's actually going to happen is the card game that positions itself in the biggest city and then, you know, is able to keep the locals there and maybe loses a bunch of money on pricing to then keep people engaged at the start to artificially get bigger than it's actually supposed to be, to then have those network effects compounding on each other. Those are the ones that are gonna be more likely to do well. Now, I don't think One Piece is like that. I think One Piece is just a massive franchise, and so
It's a huge IP.
yeah, massive
Finally,
IP. So,
cashing in on it.
yeah, exactly. So that's like different. But I think, for example, Flesh and Blood, when that started, their whole like, oh, we're gonna give $1 million or whatever the fuck. that's just a money losing operation that they can't keep going because there's no shot they make that much excess profit. So like all of that is like these artificial network effects, and so if you have too many card games, a bunch of them are gonna die. That's the thing. We see that already. Like MetaZoo is dead. So what the fuck?
How's this place so?
Bro, you found like the one river that's not serene and quiet in Japan.
Bro, they somehow have like an announcement just blaring
Yes.
this direction.
It's really impressive. Are you actually editing this or not?
I think it's better not to edit it.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Yeah. It's funnier this way. it's supposed to be scuffed. It's not always.
No, I dig it.
How does this go for?
Next you'll do the alphabet.
Okay, it's edited out.
Yeah,
Okay.
sick. But yeah, so we already see a bunch of these card games dying. MetaZoo just call it quits. There's so many other card games that tried to get started during the pandemic, and all that does is get people to game hop, you know? I think there's like a... Oh god, I'm gonna make enemies here. I think there's a type of card game player who like gets their face stomped in one card game and then is like, fuck this game is toxic, jumps to the next big thing, gets their face stomped in again by the same people, because the people who are good at a card game generally get pretty good at others quickly.
Yeah.
And then they're like, fuck this card game, it's toxic, jump to the next one. And so I think there's out there some person who has played like Force of Will, Dragon Ball Super, Digimon, Body Fight, Battle Spirits, Vanguard. They've played them all.
I know the exact play you're talking about.
Oh, you know some. Well,
I don't play it so like.
Yeah, and so like they'll jump from one to the next, and it's just like, if they're having fun, awesome, right? But if their goal is to like be competitive, I think, I don't know, this game hopping isn't.
Well, they're also the first jumpers, and then when everyone starts moving in as well.
Yeah, then they're like, fuck
jump
this.
to the next
Like when there's like 6 players, they're like, I'm the best of these 6. And then other people hop and they're like, now the game's toxic. I'll go to the next one.
Do you think we're actually in a bubble right now though? Because we have so many cards. We have still kind of.
I think the bubble has deflated, but we had one. Like 2021, when everyone and their mom started a Kickstarter to like make a new card game, that shit was cringe. And you had like a bunch of, you know how in the 99 you had pets.com having like these crazy stock valuations and people bought it thinking they would retire of it, and then of course it crashed and burned. I think in 2022 and 2021, basically the whole pandemic bubble thing, you had a similar thing with card games. And so a bunch of people bought into these card games, partially because they thought it would be the next Pokemon, right?
Yeah,
and they would be rich in 20 years. And partially because they were stuck at home and so they wanted to, just have some fun. I think now we are in like 2001, 2002 of like the pets.coms of the world, like MetaZoo, are popping and deflating. And I think we're going to see many, many more card games like that. From what I've seen, Dragon Ball Super was slightly too early to catch that pandemic wave, so I guess they already kind of were out. But Digimon caught like a big part of that pandemic wave, but then a bunch of people jumped from that to One Piece from what I saw.
Yeah, I think they had some stuff happen in one of the sets.
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened in Digimon.
I don't know too exact as well. I just hear the rumors.
Yeah, okay. So, but MetaZoo was like an obvious gone already. I'm sure there will be many more. Vanguard luckily has already had like 12 years or so of good existing, let's say.
Yeah.
So they're relatively safe, but I do think we're no longer in a hype bubble, which is good. It's healthier that way.
I guess the one other thing is new players, right? I know Yu-Gi-Oh! Has issues with, I guess, new players and getting new generation of players. Pokemon invests a lot of money in, kids, basically. It's kids. Well, you have a Pokemon, you're gonna like it, and then you're gonna keep on joining us for the next 20 years, right? I think that's pretty good. And I don't know what Magic does, but everyone eventually plays Magic at some point, depending if you stay on.
Magic does? Magic just gets older and older. If you go to a retirement home right now, those grandmas, they're playing Magic again. And I don't say this to talk shit on Magic, like I have my own Commander decks and it's good fun, but I do notice that Magic ages up tremendously. A lot of its staying power is in people who have been playing or collecting for a long time, and then new players who like saw it as kids getting back into it now that they can afford it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really seem to get the kids going. Pokemon does this very well, but that's also because the game is much more welcoming.
Yeah.
Like they keep it simple enough on the surface so that anyone can, start playing and having fun. Of course, they also have the collecting aspect.
And there's so many IPs as well.
Yeah.
So you're getting it from somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like they can literally start playing like on their Switch and then eventually get into the card game that way.
And they do market a lot to kids.
Yeah.
Or to parents as well. Because this is where you want to go. Because they just have money to just kind of blow right now, right?
Yes. But, so Pokemon does that well. Yu-Gi-Oh! Does that awfully. But on the other hand, I think what makes Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the fact that the game has gotten so complex that the best players do well extremely consistently, and new players get their face stomped in. And I think from like a competitive perspective, that's great, right? Like technically, you want the best players to do the best, and the worst players to do the worst. I think at least, like if you're
lose casuals like that, right?
Yes,
I guess
that's an issue. That's an issue, right? So like if you want your game to grow, you need some level of variance that makes anyone win at some point, and I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Has lost that. But imagine if you had like race car driving, right? And the worst race car driver sometimes randomly got first. You wouldn't really watch race car driving anymore. Well, unless you added it with explosions. Maybe like randomly the winner just explodes.
So NASCAR.
Then you could say, oh wow, this is so much more fun to watch. But like in general, you want in any type of sport, and I guess you want to see this as an e-sport, you want the best to win, and I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Does that better than a lot of other card games, but at the cost indeed of casuals.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like when I started playing Pokemon as well, it was pretty surprising that like it was hard to determine what it was like your results to become a good player, like what it means to be consistent in that game, because it's slightly different. You see like some of the best players not even like making day 2 sometimes, so it's kind of weird for me around that.
Yeah, I remember seeing like on Twitter, because obviously if you're into one card game, you see results from other card games, and of course I like to watch it and stuff. And I noticed like a really good player go like, oh, just got 7-4, pretty good result. I'm like, bro, 7-4? How is that pretty good? Any other card game, you're laughed out of the room. What are you doing? But in Pokemon, I guess 7-4 was not bad.
Well, you have ties. You make day 2. No, that means you made day 2.
You made day 2, okay.
Yeah, so like you make points, but then you probably make money, I guess. But it's really like again, it's really hard to say. Is just making day 2 good enough? Is because it's like top. Well, it depends on the regional, but it's like it's top maybe 100 sometimes, depending where it is.
Yeah, I don't know. But then again, since there's variance in card games, maybe having a having a record that's more than just positive is actually good. Maybe we're so spoiled in these other card games to think that, X1 or bust. Because, like, you can't fully control variance. Like, let's say you get over-triggered twice and you go X2 because of that. Does that mean you suck? Maybe. I went X2 and got over-triggered twice. So GG, yeah. But, I don't know. It's a really weird conversation. It could probably be a whole video on its own.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I guess Pokemon consistency is just very different from Yu-Gi-Oh! Consistency, where Yu-Gi-Oh! You need to go basically X2 or X2-1 to double YCS. Sometimes that's not even enough. In Bushiroad, you need to go X1 to confirm it. Yeah, I don't like the whole like, oh, I went X2, so I could have almost stopped. Like, bro, nah, you're 14, you didn't top. End of story. Like, there's no coping here.
Yeah, I guess the point I was saying is like, I think in Japan they're focusing a lot on getting, I guess, kids into the game again, the casual aspect. What do you think the West needs to do though? Because like, it's easy to do things in Japan. That's what it is, right? I'm here, it's everything's so close in a way and accessible. But on a worldwide scale,
you need a good digital sim first of all. I think.
Do you you think so? Because
yes, not necessarily. Like, again, it's a network effects thing. Like, if you right now tell a Vanguard player, oh, you should start playing Vanguard, and they're like, oh, cool, I'll learn the rules. Where can I do that? YouTube, Deer Days, that's outdated, or some other game used to be Zero, which is half the game, or like nah, you need to have some place to send people so they can get their feet wet.
Yes,
I think Master Duel does that very well.
But it's a totally different format than Master Duel, right?
Yeah. So I think Master Duel still has big flaws, and I think it would be way better.
Do you think it's better that it's different format?
No. Maxi sucks. Maxi basically is the over trigger of Yu-Gi-Oh! You only have casuals defending that, and any competitive player is like, this shit sucks and is random and ruins the game every time it shows its face. Then you will have the defenders who basically don't compete but still have big opinions on it. Same shit. Maxi defenders, over trigger defenders, hand in hand.
But I think I remember talking to you a while back in that online sims can also solve a format very quickly, and that's actually one of the issues of Pokemon. In that the format gets solved so quickly.
That is also true. That is, I don't know necessarily if that's bad. Like it does make technical play more important than deck building, which I don't like because I like deck building. You see the same in Hearthstone, where because everyone has a deck tracker, right, in Hearthstone, and so it also tracks win rates constantly, which means you get really quick iteration of, this deck has 68% win rate, that's crazy. I hop onto that, more people hop onto that, the win rate goes slightly down, a new deck has a higher win rate, people hop onto that, win rate goes slightly down, until you do have a best deck with a 69% win rate, and it's the best deck clearly, and it stays that way, and you have solving within 3 days of a set's release sometimes. That is boring for a deck builder. But at the same time, I do think it's way better to get people in. Because right now, again, imagine you had to restart MetaZoo, right? I'm gonna keep on shitting on MetaZoo. I mean, if people had fun with it, awesome. I didn't really care for it. But let's say you restart MetaZoo right now. How do you get someone started? Assuming there is no locals near them, or they don't know about the locals near them.
Yep.
How do you tell them to start playing the game? Do you tell them, look at this YouTuber, buy the game, then find a friend, get them lumped into the game as well, play against each other? You don't really learn much because both of you suck. Now you have to take a plane to go to a nearby BCS for MetaZoo, and that's where you then get stomped and you still suck. And there's no way to get into it easily, and so I do think Sims are really good for that. Though I don't think Bushiroad is going to make one. I think a lot of people.
I think a lot of the Japanese companies are afraid that Sims will cut into their real life profit or damage it. So that's why even Master Duel has a different format, right?
I don't think that's the reason, but it's definitely it's
one
like
of the
threat.
maybe one of the
might
reasons.
Might be one of the reasons. Yeah, it's a threat, but I don't know. Pokemon does it. Magic does it.
But you can't buy cards in Pokemon. You have to buy the physical cards to transfer codes.
Yes, that can be a thing. I don't care. It's just that I think you need to have a way to get someone who doesn't get to enjoy those network effects to still be part of your IP.
Because then you can have YouTubers playing it, streamers and stuff playing it as well.
You can have YouTubers play it, stream it. You can also way more easily pay content creators to promote your game. Right now, if I'm a new game, again, I'm starting MetaZoo 2 with my MetaZoo BCSs, I can hit up Chris and say, okay, play our MetaZoo sim for 2 hours on your stream. Here's 1,000 or 2,000 or however many bucks. And a bunch of card game players are going to watch it, and they can literally click one link and start playing.
True.
That is so powerful. Whereas saying, oh, play this on your stream, and then we need to have people take trains to their local game store, ask for the product, then the local game store has to contact their distributor, get cases pre-ordered so that in 3 months you can then buy a start deck, when you still need to then find a friend to get them also into the game to then play those start decks against each other. The conversion rate is nothing. There is no shot you get anyone into it that way. Where the sim is just click, click, click.
Yeah.
And that's a start. And then you have to build the rest of the funnel.
I think that was a big shift when companies went, we probably need to make a sim because of COVID, right? But then after that, everyone wanted to it looks like everyone really wanted to play in real life, and then companies started taking it less seriously. But then I guess for Dragon Ball Super, they said there was going to be a sim for it, as far as I know. And that's I guess it might be better for the small games, right? You go for a big 3 game, right?
I think even the big 3 games should have it though.
You should worry less about profit, right?
Remember Master Duel's launch? How huge that was?
Huge.
And do you know how many players are Master Duel only players currently? Which of course isn't ideal for them, but it's better than no players.
True.
True. There's so many people who came back to Yu-Gi-Oh because of Master Duel. I think that's the number one step, because we no longer have we no longer have the whole thing where a 6-year-old watches a TV show and then goes to a store and buys cards. That's dead.
Maybe only in Japan.
Sure, but not in the West.
Not in the West, yes.
Let's wait for this car real quick.
It's exciting living in Japan.
Yeah, man. But it's like the most common thing, you know, whenever someone says, oh, how do you market a card game? They will think, oh, when I was 6, I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! So now we need to make a television show of Vanguard and air it on TV so kids will watch that. That's done. People, they don't watch TV. Kids take iPads, you know? So you need the new way in which people watch content, and it's mostly creators. And I think you should be going ham on creator marketing. But in order to be able to go ham on creator marketing, you need a way to convert from those creators. And only Sims reliably convert from creators. Which is why I think you have to make a sim. But it's not happening. It's super expensive. Anyone saying like, oh, you should just make a sim. It's not that
it's
hard.
that easy, dude.
Yeah, just make one.
Java, type a few lines.
Yeah, dude. Just programming in Python. Bro.
There's a reason why developers get paid a lot of money.
Yes.
If they don't get paid a lot of money, they
quit and they go to Facebook. Make $100K a year, bro.
Probably more than that.
Yeah.
The ones that are left, anyway.
Whoa. Yeah, but yeah, it's super expensive to make to program stuff, and so like
it takes a lot of time as well.
Maybe ChatGPT fixes that. Maybe ChatGPT can make this in. Sounds
sketch. All right, I think it's been nearly an hour we've been talking.
That's wild.
Wow, it's crazy. We can only do this because we don't talk in a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine we missed one world.
This is like pent-up demand
podcast. Yeah. So, is there anything else you want to say? You come back to Solemn Vanguard soon?
I already made 2 videos, bro. They're up on the channel right now. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I get really bored of content creation sometimes, you know. Like, my goal was always to just compete, and the content was very secondary. I think you literally have videos of me and Chris where I even say that like years ago, where I'm like, I don't really care about content creation. Like, I'll do it whenever I feel like it, but I care about competing more than anything. And so lately, I don't know, I just haven't been making much content. I just, if there's a reveal that really excites me, I will. But beyond that, I never want to force myself, because I do think it burns you out.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I understand.
Beta, here's the new reveals. I'll do it when I feel like it, and then it's real.
Okay. This is why you're here, right? Keep it real. Yeah. Well, I think that's all for me. That's all the questions asked.
How are you feeling about Japan? Did you enjoy Worlds?
I actually like it. I like coming back to Japan. Japan is crazy.
Same.
I think the best thing about Japan is not like me coming to Japan, I guess, because I actually came to Japan a lot last year. But seeing everyone who's coming to Japan the first time.
Oh yeah, watching their eyes go like,
wow, let's go. This is a real place.
Yes, and then 7 days later, like, holy shit.
I have to go home. Toilets don't work in America.
Oh, dude, the toilet. Okay, so real talk, real quick here. I had not used the little butt wash thing on the toilet the 2 first times I came. Like the two first years, I was like, this is weird. Why would I use that? Like, what the fuck? I don't want random water up my, whatever. And then this year I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a big boy. It's time to, try the button. And so I pressed that button, and my life changed, man. I now need one at home. The only issue I have is like, if you get one of those bidets that they advertise that you add to your toilet, I don't know if it'll be the same quality. No, they're not as good. Fuck, man. So I need a whole new toilet at home.
New toilet.
Man, my life has changed.
Maintenance for that. It needs a PowerPoint.
Oh my god, dude. And it's also warm water too, so you need like
it warms your ass as well.
Dude, that one I don't really mind. Maybe in the winter.
Have you seen the one where it plays music while you're doing the deed, so you're less self-conscious of other people hearing you?
So I at home do my own version of that. I just put on a Twitch stream and put it really loud. So Chris, thank you so much for your contributions to my. But so yeah, that was Japan for me. That was a whole new experience.
Yeah, okay, that's. I think that's a great time to.
Great time to end it.
Guys, thanks all for watching. Thank you so much for being here for nearly an hour.
Always happy to be here.
Make sure you subscribe to all his channels. Solemn something.
Solemn something soon. Solemn Pokemon.
Whoa! It already is there, right?
Yeah, it already
Yeah,
exists.
Solemn Vanguard, Solemn Yu-Gi-Oh, right? He does a lot of
Yes.
Yu-Gi-Oh content. Yeah, thanks for coming, man. See you next time.
Yes. Bye bye.